So I'm not the biggest fan of college football. I really only pay attention when there's players that I know are going to the NFL or it's the college football playoff. I'll watch out of interest. But there's something that's been going on in college football recently that has changed my mind on that, and that is Deion Sanders and his electric start with Colorado. Um, the Colorado program. So again, just to give a rundown, if you haven't heard of everything that's been happening. So Deion Sanders got his start into coaching with what's the name of the program again?
Oh, I don't remember either. Crap.
It's like Jackson State, I believe, is the
That sounds right. It's a state.
Jackson State University. Yep.
Oh, okay.
He got his start there again. Smaller school, but just because of the fact that he's Deion Sanders, was able to recruit some pretty big names there. Travis Hunter, who is like the number 2 player in the nation, and his own son, Shadur Sanders, is the quarterback. They did really well there, obviously, with that kind of talent, and then he decided to take his talents to an actual FBS school in Colorado. Now, Colorado went 1-11 last year. They were genuinely terrible. But after last week, where they pulled the 45-42 upset over TCU, who went to the national championship game, and then playing against Nebraska, the hype around Colorado is unreal. Deion has got these guys play like he has rejuvenated that entire franchise. He's got his son in NFL draft conversation alongside Travis Hunter, who's playing both sides of the ball and doing really good on both. And just watching a little bit of that game and seeing the crowd at the Colorado Stadium, it's just crazy how much a player coach can, because those would always work out, right? Can take a program from just like one of the worst in the country to potentially one of the best in the country in just a couple years.
And I did want to start on one thing, because I will open this off by saying I probably will say some stupid stuff because I am not a very big college football fan. But one thing that's super intriguing to me right off the bat, and I know this isn't super uncommon, but it's the fact that everything I'm seeing is how incredible Travis Hunter is able to play on both sides of the ball. Like, I remember seeing that he played like 139 out of like 160 overall snaps in the TCU game, which is nuts as hell, at least to me. I and obviously I don't know. He's probably gonna choose a position by the time he gets to the NFL. But the idea of a two-sided player, or a player who plays both sides in the NFL, literally, ironically, from memory, I think the first one since like Deion Sanders, like, which is pretty funny. I'm curious, like, that'd be pretty nuts. It's not necessarily a question more than it's just a statement. Like, what do you think the chances are that he could, if he wanted to, actually pull something like that off?
Well, I think it depends who's coaching him, right?
True.
I think part of the reason he's doing it and doing it with so much success is because his coach is Deion Sanders, right? Who obviously has experience with that. But it's not like because I believe he is primarily a cornerback and receiver is more of the extra role, but he still has. So again, I haven't been watching too much, but I did catch some of the Nebraska game, and there was a play he made that was just so subtle but so great in terms of just knowing how to play the receiver position. It was very tightly contested ball, like the corner was right on him, but he managed to get separation by having his arm on the corner but not extending to where he would get a pass interference call. He just sort of put his arm up to give himself a little bit of space and then faded back to make the catch. And that kind of play is just not one that you can take any random player at cornerback and just put them in a wide receiver. That's a receiver play. And the fact that he's able to do that makes me think maybe it can happen, right?
It would be pretty nuts, especially because, I mean, I know that I'm going to... This is the same, and I hate myself for saying this, but it's like the Otani thing, right? We're playing two positions at the same time. it's gonna make people go absolutely wild. And the reason I say I hate making that prediction is because, like, it's the same type of prediction anybody who does not know a sport, like I don't know college football that well, and I don't know how well that would actually translate to the NFL. So who goddamn knows? I feel like I have to say take me with a grain of salt before I say half the garbage I'm going to be saying during this segment. But I just, God, that'd be fun. That'd be so fun to see in the NFL now. Like, imagine a situation where you could be making the argument that a player could win, and this isn't going to happen. I'm just throwing shit out there, but like offensive and defensive rookie of the year in the same season, that'd be nuts. Yep. Like, that would be crazy. Oh. Here's hoping that somehow we manage to pull some garbage off, because that'd be so fun. Yeah, that would be fun.
The only concern for him at that point is just, like, the chance of him getting injured doing this is, like, sadly enough, way higher than it would be if he was just, I guess, playing one side of the field. Because he's playing so many snaps, not only you're out there more, there's a higher chance something bad is going to happen, but also, like, the wear and tear on your body cannot be good for him. But who knows? If he's able to make it work for this season, that could maybe serve as a proof of concept for the future.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like you said, he's mainly a corner. Even, like, coming in, if he came in on, like, every, like, third or fourth snap offensively, as, like, just, like, I don't really know what his role in the Colorado offense is. I don't know if he's an outside receiver or what have you. But, I don't know exactly, like, how he plays. That's kind of what I'm saying. But even if he just comes in and plays that role, like, every third or fourth down offensively and then plays almost every down defensively, like, even that would be pretty nuts. That'd be nuts. Like, that honestly would be the way that if he could make it work and, like, is elite on both sides of the ball at the NFL level, that would be my prediction on how a defensive player... That's how a defensive player finally wins an MVP, by playing offense.
Yeah.
like
kind of sad to think about, hey?
It is, but, like, that's kind of what I mean, where it's an idea it's an idea so out there, but we're actually seeing someone able to succeed at it. Obviously, the college level is very different to the NFL level, but if he could pull it off, that'd be so fun. And it's not going to happen. It's not. I'm going to keep telling myself it's not going to happen. Don't get your hopes up, Simon. I want it to happen so bad. I will be in Travis Hunter's corner all of his entire damn career if he actually tries to do that, but he probably won't. He'll probably before the draft go, I'm a corner. Then that'll be it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Who knows? Maybe he'll take the, like, Lamar Jackson route where people try to pigeonhole him into being what he's not, where people tell Lamar he's a running back and no, I'm a quarterback. People try to pigeonhole him one way, no, I'm both. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. But speaking of that college football to NFL pipeline, talking more about Deion, just the fact that he's already doubled up on Colorado's win total from last year in only 2 games.
That's pretty funny.
How quickly, Simon... So he said that he's not looking to make a jump to the NFL anytime soon. But, I don't know, with the name recognition that he already has and the success that he's having, it's only a matter of time.
How much of the success that he's having can be given to the fact that recruits want to play for him because of his name and not necessarily... Like, I don't know exactly how to phrase this, but how much success do you think is actually him as a genuine coach, or it's just the talent that he's basically been gifted because he's Deion Sanders? That's my question.
That's a tough question to answer because it's really hard to know. So on the one hand, obviously the way you get talent in college is very different from the way you get it in the NFL.
And that's kind of the reason I bring it up, because obviously the thing is, if his name is the reason that he's getting the talent, then he can be a very successful college coach for a long time, just off the fact that his name ain't going anywhere. People know who Deion Sanders is. People will continue to know who Deion Sanders is. He will continue to be the big mouth, like big name guy, like star of a coach. That's not going to change. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same at the NFL. You can't just grab and pick the entire, like all the best recruits and just win. That's not how the NFL works. We've got a draft, we've got free agency, we've got all these things, contracts, what have you. Like, it's not the same. And I think it really just depends on how high you are on Deion and his actual system and coaching and just in general style, which I think we can just bring back to, like, because we've seen a lot of reporting on just how, frankly, unorthodox it is, because he doesn't put captains on his jerseys, he puts leaders and dogs, which I think is awesome. But I think it really is the question of, like, do you think that, like, buddy kind of, like, coaching that Deion kind of has, where he's kind of, like, how do I phrase this?
Because it's working. I don't know if it is buddy.
No, but okay.
Because he's still pretty hard on them. I don't know if you saw the clip of the first time he got to Colorado and basically told them, like, if you're not comfortable playing for this program, giving it all for me, then you're leaving right now. Like, he put this ultimatum out to his players that, and there was a huge amount of roster turnover, and a lot of players left, and a lot of new players were brought in. And I think that's where that part of the argument goes in terms of the...
Okay. Well, I will say I didn't know that.
Talent.
Yeah, but I'm just... Basically, that actually makes me feel a lot more confident in the style of coaching, because that's a big thing for me. A lot of people in recent years, especially... I'm going to go back to hockey because that's my comfort zone. But in hockey, you've seen it plenty in the last couple of years, where people have been making the argument that old-fashioned, screaming coach, like, on the sideline, you mess up once, you're out, like, style just doesn't work anymore. And your coach kind of needs to be a bit more friendly with you and all that. And I don't know if I fully agree with that. I still think that old school, I think at this point you need to have you have to have a mix. You can't be too hard on your players, but you also can't be best friends with them. And
yeah,
that makes me feel a lot better, because I did not know that, and I will fully admit that. Like I said, not a college football fan. So that makes me a lot more confident, Deion, because that's a style of coaching that I can appreciate, because I truly feel like that works. And yeah, I like it. If that's the truth, and he can make it translate at the NFL level, I don't think it'd be that long. But I mean, who knows? Imagine if he goes up and coaches, like, next year with his son, keeps following his son around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that might be how he chooses where he goes, because his son's, if he continues to play this way, if Shedeur continues to play this way, then he's going to be drafted highly, and especially, like, his name recognition is going to help him there too, and he also is very talented from what I watched. Like, he's going to go to a team that will be very bad, because he'll be drafted so high. Is Deion able to step in and coach that team right off the bat? Who knows?
And that really does just come back to the point that I made before of how much do you really put on Deion and how much do you put around the talent that he's basically being gifted, right? Like, it all comes back to that, right? I think that we won't really be able to see how good of a coach Deion is until we see him trying to coach a not very good squad at the NFL level, right? Like, that's when it's really going to come into... Everything's going to come together just across the board. So I think it's going to be super interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess past that, what else have we not touched on? Do you think, how high do you think you obviously kind of already said it, but how high do you think Shedeur Sanders is going to go at the end of the season if he keeps on?
Okay, it's because really... I saw him projected as high as a 9. I don't know if I'd believe that yet, just because he hasn't played at the Div 1 level for the whole year. And this draft is, like, one of the best quarterback drafts we've seen in a long time, with Caleb Williams and Drake May.
Like, one thing that I immediately saw whenever I watched the highlights, like, and just, like, kind of like, because one of my favorite habits is to scroll through the comments section and see all the degenerates that are on the internet. But not you, Trick Play Watcher. You're not a degenerate, unless you are. But you're not because you watch us. Unless your takes are really stupid. Don't be stupid. But, like, anyway, all the comments were like saying like, oh, he looks better than Caleb Williams out there, and he was like, oh, he's like doing this, and it's like, well, I have a hard time believing that. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around him going into the draft, which is why I could totally see him projected to go super high and then fall, because everybody's going to project him to be like a stupid high pick, and all the NFL teams with actual scouts are going to go like, well, wait a minute. No. Because he's talented. He's talented, but I could see him like going lower.
I do think it's something more in between that, though, because, yeah, he is really talented. The other thing I would be shocked about is if I'd be shocked if what was I going to say? If he actually declares for the NFL draft next year. I think it would be best for him to show what he can do in Div 1 football for a full 2 years. Because I'm 99% sure he's got more years of eligibility. I don't think he's that old. I think he can make that happen. If he has that opportunity, he should take it. The other thing, like the Caleb Williams comparison.
Well, it also helps that he can make money at the college level now. I know that's already been talked about 1,000 times over, but there's a pretty good realistic chance that he could make more money at the college level than he even would in his first year in the NFL. So if he does have the chance to defer to the next season, I don't see why he wouldn't. Like, because there's already the risk that, and obviously he's not going to want to look at it this way, but what if he goes up to the NFL and sucks and makes no money after his first couple of years? Like, I think just the fact that he can dominate college football for a little bit at a level where he's really good, make some real big dough, then go up to the NFL. I don't know. That's what I'd do. So maybe there's a little bit more cockiness in there, that where he wants to go up there and immediately prove that he can do it with the best. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And I think to end off the segment, because I think the Caleb Williams comparison is interesting, if not stupid. Just to point out the gap between them. USC has played slightly weaker competition, but USC's point totals through their first 3 games: 56, 66, 56. It's a different beast. And I mean, hey, mark it on your calendars. USC does play Colorado in 2 weeks. So
I did not know
Simon, if there's any game that you want to get you into college football, maybe that's the one. That should be really interesting. I have a lot of players that are destined for the NFL, especially at the quarterback position. So.
We'll see what I'm doing that day. We'll see how bored I am. Any promise regarding watching a thing that I do not normally watch depends totally on how bored I am. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm super. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm super. That's where I'm going with that. End of the segment. Immediately lost train of thought. Okay, so